Hello and welcome back. So, this writing stream will pick up where we left off, and as you'll notice to the side of the screen here, and I'm just going to adjust the window for my own sake. There we go. When we last left off, and Nikolai wasn't being a goober in the chat, I had typed very, very little, because what had happened was I got distracted with the chat, as I tend to do, because I am a social butterfly who must fly whenever the opportunity presents itself. So, you'll note here there is significantly more written than there was last time, and this is one of the key points of writing. I hear this a lot from a bunch of art friends, and by the way, you're going to see or hear a lot in the stream. That's my go-to word. Like, and or It's basically going to sound like someone just took all the noises out of a Kennedy speech and just sort of mashed them together. Anyway, this goes back to one of the key tenets that I was talking about last time with writing, which is something I've heard a lot with art, and artists give this advice, where they'll say, oh, just pick up a pencil, and so much as you even draw a line a day, you're at least going to be drawing something, and it's going to get you in the habit of thinking. It's going to become a habit. You need to build a chain, if you would. And the same goes too with writing. Now, what you're... yes, essentially Jeff Goldblum noises. Life finds a way. But the same logic holds true with writing. Now, what you write doesn't have to be your final draft. In fact, I encourage it not to be. Even though I am the biggest hypocrite on the face of the earth when it comes to this, because I will get it in my head about what I want and just... and have basically my final product sans a little bit of editing here and there. But the point is, so long as you can start putting ideas down on a page, you can always come back to it later. Because later that afternoon, after I ended the stream, what I did was I looked over it. I'm like, let me scratch this sandpaper chin of mine. No, I don't like these two paragraphs here. I think this should be up here and this should be down here. And the second I started messing with the nuts and bolts of what I had written, I started getting my own momentum, and it carried over. Now, I'm going to take a drink of the champion water here out of the enormous cup. And I'm going to read some of where we left off. So, without further ado, and hoping that my collared shirt doesn't betray the fact that despite the weight loss I still have two chins. With the Medean in hand, Plod Vog rapidly began to backpedal as her kin spread out their flimsy prey for cover. Her own wild barrage would die down in the literal seconds it took for over half of her party. Bit of the Pennsylvania accent trying to show up there. Or a pirate one. Party. Of her party to fall, either in bloodied piles or unconscious bundles, leaving those on their feet to draw more attention as she tried to recover from the snare. Before any more of her potential decoys could fall, her claws would shoot to her belt and grab as many grenades as her single hand could hold and cast them outwards towards one of the hills. And just reading this, a quote to keep in mind writing, brevity is the source of all wit. If there's an extra word you can shed while writing, shed it. And something else, I like to have the little cursor where I'm reading, so you're going to see me holding the button down. The blanket of thick white fog and crackling sparks from the tunnel soon engulfed the entire tree line behind the reservoir, shrouding the UCASC security officers for only a second more before they sprang forth, bringing a hail of green neutron pistol fire, while Plaid's grenades sent spires of dirt and flame upward. Upwards. The disguised combatants had narrowly dove out of the way of the incoming purpley colored metallic weapons before they burst, but the Gambit only slowed their assault for a moment before two ESG operatives broke from the group to rush the insidious creatures with the insidious creature with the hostage. By the way, if any of you want clarification on what anything is, just "I have a question" in the chat and I'll stop for you. While the commandos' weapons were designed strictly with the purpose of killing in mind, the neutron pistols and short-nosed carbines of the ESG would easily combine to a force that the perverse invaders could not repel, leaving those they fell unconscious in the dirt. They were to be taken prisoner, a slave by any other name. Like a pet or an animal, to be looked after and fed by these soft creatures who fancied themselves as lords. Plaid's that doesn't need to be there. Plaid's brow wrung in disgust at the thought. It was not her fate to become their pet. The small creatures would look much finer, trembling at the foot of her chambers. Unlike their comrades in the dig site, the Rolfians before the combined forces would not have as easy a time shrugging off the incoming bolts as they washed over their leathery hides. It was far too much, too fast. Plaid rushed backwards, trying to stay ahead of the combatants as they spread out to encircle them, and opened fire. The form of the male who had claimed ownership of the Eondid thralls scrambled before her to return to his stance, while the others fired without direction. Of course, that was their nature. What they would expect from them. Short-term impulses and desires which they'd use to guide them to their downfall. The protectors of the protectors want to play deceit. Not today, I'm afraid. Plaid rasped to herself, as the side of her snout turned up into a smirk. Into the woods, now! I'm going to add a few more S's here. Stay close, Plaid snarled, as she offered the male the rare consideration of cover fire. His expression would break into one of skeptical confusion before a brief... Let me try that one again. His expression would break into one of skeptical confusion for a brief second. However, he would not question the courtesy as he swiftly complied. The others seemed to share his confusion at the idea of retreating and bulking together. Oh, wait, no. But the continued fall of their brothers and sisters encouraged them to heed. No sense of duty or remorse toward their fallen to burden their hasty withdrawal. But to Plaid, it would be her first trial to get to know her ultimate prize. It stood to reason that they would have some new device to further try to surprise them. After all, this trap had proved that they were not alien to the concept of trickery. But a cover of trees would, at the very least, remove their ability to effectively use any means of taking advantage of the sky. And their greatest weakness of all would allow Plaid to use to at least half the number of weapons on them. They cared far too much to use treachery to its full potential. They'd not risk harming their comrades. If they could make it... Oh, geez, the telephone, excuse me. If they could make it to the woods before them, the soft ones in pursuit would have to try to navigate through the many trees and get back ahead of them in order for the combatants in the rear to aid in the fighting. And in all their strange empathies, they would never risk harming the hostage before they could... if they could not achieve a clear line of sight. Forgive me. I have a bad habit left over from when I was a small child in which I'll read words that aren't on the page. Now, quick time out. I just realized I forgot to shotgun this to Twitter. So anyone on Twitter, if you wouldn't mind providing the link to people, to hopefully get a few more people in here, I'd be much appreciative. That was the wrong button. Okay. Oh. Well, this presents a bit of a problem. Let me see, can I open a new? Oh, hey, Ethan. Twitter. Tweet. Stream is live. And hopefully my tweets don't make me sound like a pretentious tit. That works. Open up, DeviantArt. Oh, yeah, while I have my tabs open, oh wait, no. I think I have the... Guys, let me know real quick. The stream's set up so that you can't see my browser, right? So I can't bring up a silly image. And there's a bit of a lag in the chat, so I'm going to have to wait for you guys' reply there. Pardon. Boop. There we go. Alright, everybody has... That message, 2 tabs are being closed. That freaks me out. I just saw the right half of the browser window. Oh. Okie doke. Well, I'll just link this in the chat. There's this... image, no, I'll get it later, but there's basically this image where it's this ancient Roman coin, and they're trying to do a likeness of what I think to be Julius Caesar. And I don't know who's the person who did the cast of it or took the portrait, but the back of Julius Caesar's chin has more wrinkles and creases in it than the back of a pack of hot dogs. It looks like someone's stealing a bag of grain through a storm drain, and it's absolutely hilarious. If and when I upload the stream, because I am recording, to YouTube, I'll try and put a link in the description below so you can see this majestic coin and the just insurmountable sausage turtleneck of this poor man on this coin. It is... I can't imagine that fellow had his head for very long after that. So yeah, this time, despite my inclination to try and be social and respond to every single thing in the chat and keep looking at it every second it updates, must resist, I'm going to try and get some writing done. So, I don't know if you guys have a similar thing, but I have this issue where I like what I'm writing to be almost dead center to the page, or like it can't be at the immediate top because it'll bug me, because I guess the first place I look on my screen is somewhere in the middle. I'm going to drink some water because if I keep cracking my voice in this stream, I'm probably gonna die of embarrassment. No, Sesra, you don't have to keep your mouth shut. I enjoy your commentary on the stream. I'm flattered that you're here. It means the world to me that anyone shows up. Alright, so, let me think. because I have a specific number of chapter or pages per chapter in mind. So what I want to do is I want to try and keep this going in a lively manner. I have my certain goals for this chapter before I move on and try and kick this woodpile down. Oop. Thank you, Ethan. But if you're going to pick candy, pick Whoppers. Can't stand Milk Duds. Those things are awful. Whopper heathen. Oh, come fight me, mate. Fight me. You and them little penguin arm and leg having self. One v one no scope. Yeah, you got it. You know my terms immediately. Or we could do what that one fellow did. What was he was talking mad smack to Andrew Worski, and he's like, "Oh, I'll fight you, I'll fight you." And then like when the one third party lady took and set up a fight, he just didn't show, and he used fake aliases and stuff like that on his on his form to want to compete. Oh, Reese's peanut butter cups. I love those. Nikolai, yes. I don't know if you did this too, but the second they started doing the Reese's Puff cereal, that was my life. I adored those things. But anymore, like it seems like they're making them like so small. Sour Patch Kids cereal? That just sounds like a bowl of masochism. Ethan, get out of here. You have been banished. Oh, Sesra is peanut butter overload. Way too strong for this one. Yeah, well, I could imagine a Yinglet's head is like that. At the very most. I have, for dessert with the diet, whenever I can get it, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter a sitting. That would be enough to glue at least 4 Yinglets to a ceiling fan. In which case you don't need cable, because then you have entertainment for the rest of the afternoon. At least until they come loose with that one tooth, there'll be like a little aerodynamic projectile that takes out any television, window, or wall in the immediate area. Again, I hate that about my keyboard. It's side slung. Like, I don't know if anyone else has a laptop like this or a keyboard like this, but everything's like shunted off to one side. They have a number pad here, which I don't think I have that on Delacroix. But in order to make the room, they had to move the keyboard over, and it just throws off my sense of keyboard awareness, I guess. So yeah, default to video 1. Always make sure you put money into your equipment. Have a keyboard you are comfortable with, and the bigger the keys are, the better. You want tactile response when you're typing. Otherwise, you're just going to be slipping all over the place, and you're going to start losing your typing speed. And I've discovered the slower you get, or the more often you make mistakes with the keyboard, the more you're going to break your train of thought, and the less you're going to feel about yourself. And it just sort of accumulates into this state of writer's block and depression of like, I can't write anything, because effectively you're working against yourself with poor equipment to keep you from achieving your state of flow, that moment where you're in the zone, and it's just like nothing but you, your vision, and the words on the page. Oh, hey, Swoosh. Now you're talking. Oh, and Ethan has left. That or it's his internet, because I know he's got some good internet. Real strong Kmart connection there. Another word of advice: don't use the same word too many times in a sentence, otherwise it starts giving your reader a sense of repetition. It becomes stale. I had that problem at the beginning of the book, where massive was used massively too much. every other word I was trying to describe this grand sweeping space station, and I was trying to make it seem like this big, grandiose, amazing environment. And for some reason, the only word that came to mind was massive. I wanted to give them this sense of scale and wonder, but whenever I had anyone read it, it became more of a joke, in the sense that if it was a drinking game to take a shot anytime you uncovered the word massive, I'd be liable for probably a lot of deaths. So yeah, make sure to use words as few times as possible within the sentence. You don't want too many mirrors of them. Now, the, at, and stuff like that, that's obvious, but I'm sure you get what I'm saying here. Oh yeah, a thesaurus on hand. They definitely help. There is no easier way to make yourself sound smarter than what you really are than with the help of my good friend Thesaurus. Cesra, I has this Cesrosaurus, my favorite dinosaur, by the way, is my own. I talk to myself and make up words like Cesrosaurus or Cesrosus. Cesrosus? Cesrosus. Okay, there we go. Yeah, don't worry, I will learn your strange ways and language eventually. But yeah, that's another thing. You're exactly right, Cesra. I will talk to myself to a worrying degree whenever I'm working on a scene or I have something developing in my head, and I find with no false pretense of sophistication here, usually the bathroom or the shower is where I have most of my best ideas, and it's I guess a private and enclosed space where you can just sort of talk to yourself, go through dialogue and stuff like that without anyone being there to see, wow, this guy's crazy. Instead, they'll just think you're either on your phone talking to someone or just in the bathroom talking to yourself. Good times. Oh yes, spell check loves me. Making up all sorts of goofy words. Oh, Nikolai, question. Yes, what is the question? If it's have I read JP's bio yet? No, I have not. I've not had the time, and if you resend the file, I will definitely take and read over this. Okay, so from reading over some of these paragraphs on screen, I'm guessing some of these people are snake-like people. Yeah, large reptilian types. Well, kind of reptilian, kind of hog-like. But they're called the Rolfians, and they are one of the major empires, one of the major political powers within my Infinity Quest universe. They are in a separate empire just adjacent to the UCASC. In my world, there is a greater wheel of universal powers. And it's sort of like a pie chart. There is a section of unclaimed space in the middle of this, and around that unclaimed, non-violatable space are these other empires, where we have the UCASC, the Michan, the Co-Confederacy, stuff like that. Wait, say that species name again. Rolfian. It's right here. I put the species names in italics. Oh, forgive the noise in the next room. My mom just got home, and the dogs always lose their minds whenever someone comes in the house. Is it okay if I call them scale noodles? Yes, they are violent noodles. Violent. And Sush would know. She is an expert in noodleology. She's actually a neurologist for noodles, which they call a neuronoodlist. Okay, I thought it was spelled Rolfians at first. No, I have heard so much of Rolf from Ed, Edd n Eddy about the Rolfians. Like, at some point, I'm tempted just to hide someone named Ed in the book for them to go after. Just don't want to reference this. But, Sushi is a nudist. No, not a nudist! No! Sush, come back! I said noodleist. There's the oodle in that. Alright. And that's something else that happens to me a lot. I'll start typing ahead what's up here, the sentence, as opposed to what I've already written, so I'll get words just repeated and or missing. But again, the point is just type. Just get something going, and it'll definitely help you with your writing, because you can always come back to it. And it's what I found is it's much easier to review something or critique something or edit something you've already done, as opposed to sit there with a blank screen and try and create something out of nothing. And that's a topic I'll save for another stream. Let me see. I kind of write my stories from a more cinematic and narrative perspective. Like, the best example would be my Alphabet High Speed 1 poem. I had to write as a school assignment, and I had to get really creative with my choices of words. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. And I try to channel that when I'm writing. I try to see everything like a movie. Like, I'm bearing witness to a television show in my head that no one else can see, and I'm doing my very best to describe it and take that and put it here in text form. Sweet. Great minds think alike, Caleb. Yeah, great minds are crazy ones. The jury's still out on that. Nikolai says, you're probably saying that because I can come up with some epic coaster designs. Let me stop you right there. You can come up with some epic suicide machines on Planet Coaster. You put the Futurama suicide booth to shame, my friend, because if you're going to go out at Mach 7 in style. Hmm. How do I want to set this up? That's going to be a question you ask a lot. I know what I want to say here. I'm going to transition to Maud, which is another Rolfian group. Rolfian and her group I had mentioned earlier. Careful with the throat noises there. I'm going to sound like Obama. I'm going to have Maud show up with her group. And effectively what's going to happen is she's going to, since she's coming up behind the ESG agents and the UCASC officer, she's going to catch them the ESG by surprise and manage to break through the ensnaring maneuver that's going on right now. And they're going to make their getaway. But I want to make a callback to something I said earlier where I said that undeserved acts of... there we go. Let me just pop down here. Undeserved act of fate. Life leads to... Oh. Ethan's back and he's quoting Ed, Edd n Eddy. Thank you. You know, I'm going to have to finish up the picture of the Rolfians and release it just so you guys can have your fun. The shame of the matter is the Rolfians are supposed to be like the Mac Daddy most evil race in my... or species in my story. And I liked Rolf. He was a cool character. I loved any episode that he was in Ed, Edd n Eddy. Like, any episode. If it was a Rolf episode, it was a good time. And just edit pictures of Rolf's heads over top of him. Yeah, yes, just gray it out so it matches the skin tone. Okay, what don't you like about that? Favorite Rolf scene? Go. Alright, so Eddie does something that greatly insults Rolf, and it was Eddie. He does something that greatly insults Rolf, and like he's chewing on this marble for a while, just like completely irate, and he challenges him to a duel. So he digs this huge pit and lays this tree over, and they grab these dueling trout, and Rolf just starts smacking the living hell out of Eddie. And it gets surprisingly epic for what it is, but that is my favorite Rolf scene. I was kind of let down in the movie that it seemed like he chickened out when they were confronting his brother. Like, he tears off his shirt, you got the hairy... hitting puberty way too early, arms buffing up, and he's ready to square off and go with this guy. But he pushes Kevin for it, and it's like, oh, come on. Come on. Oh, that's my horse. Yeah, that was a good one, too. Also, the one with, what were the ones where they did that? They were like the Boy Scouts. I don't remember. Safety something? I don't know. That was a good one, though. Guys, settle down in the chat. It's everybody's horse. The Urban Rangers! That's the one! Oh, God, remember like 4 or 5 megaplexes ago Where there was that one bald dude who showed up at the convention dressed like Johnny 2x4 carrying around a version of Plank. That was nice. That was actually the first time I had donned a fursuit, and I was weirdly like whenever I do something, I really commit to the role. I don't want to break the illusion, but I didn't know the limits of my own stamina, so I was boiling inside that suit. And there was a point from like the convention space to that hallway where the dude was in, where I blacked out and I was not aware of my actions or anything that was happening. And somehow, I guess I had started a joke or something where like people would bonk me over the head or something and I'd fall down. And when I started like regaining my focus and everything, I was doing such a joke with him, and he was bashing me over the noodle with Plank. And it was about that point where I thought, okay, it's maybe time to get to a headless lounge. I might be dying. Yeah, that's mortality I taste. And now it's water. It tastes like iron. Yeah, I've had that one a couple of times. And I'm just going to pop a save right here. Oh yeah, Colby hasn't jumped in yet because she's not feeling well. So, for all of your adorable needs and people to want to fawn over and just think that they are the most precious, adorable little thing on the face of the earth, I direct your attention to Cesra. Please shower her in praise and Hershey's Kisses. Unless chocolate is poisonous to Yinglets, in which case I would prefer you not shower my friends in delicious, delicious cyanide. Yeah, there's one rule to the stream. Don't kill the other guests. This is not Fight Club. You don't win anything for being the last person in the stream. Please do not. I cannot afford another life on my hands. Can you kill the host? Not with them tiny little birdie flappy arms, but you can try. Joking aside, though, thank you everybody for coming. I really, again, I don't want to sound sappy or nothing, but I do appreciate it, because I've been on like social media for 8 years or so, and I'm kind of this nebulous nobody. I remember back in like the wild west of DeviantArt, where everyone always commented when they faved, and like you'd have random people breaking out into role plays in the comments, and like our standards were really low, so anytime you saw a colored picture, it was like, oh wow, that's awesome, you colored it. I think at that point I might have had like 400 watchers. I don't know. To the best of my knowledge, I've never broke 250. So I've always sort of relatively been this great nebulous nobody, and it wears on you, because you start to wonder, are your ideas worth it? Am I wasting my time here? Am I just some fuddy-duddy that time forgot that nobody really is interested in? So the fact that even 4 of you want to show up to the stream, I'm endeared to all of you, and I appreciate it a lot. So, let's continue along here. Ethan, somehow they got lower. Yeah. Well, that you do you, buddy. You're still paying me, right? What, for platitudes? Oh no, for showing up to the stream. Yeah, no, you're here at gunpoint. Oh yeah, I love how everyone's undercutting it. Like, hey, I appreciate an interest in my work. Ethan, hey, you're still paying me. Nikolai, I'm just bored. I got nothing better to do. You're option 4. On my top tier list of shit to do, you are low. The only reason I'm here is because the cable's out. All right, let's ignore the sound in the other room. I'm literally here for just here for the memes. Thank you, Sush. I am here. Oh, thank God bless you, Sestra. I am here because I support the Caleb and the writings. I want to read the novel when it is done. Yes, I can read. P.S. Caleb, have I read the script right? Yes, you're doing fine. Your 20's in the mail. No, it's more a matter of I'm bribing you with food. Hey, I still support my favorite greaser. Thank you, Nikolai. Alright, I love how when you mimicked me and Nikolai, you gave me a low voice boy for the win. And Sestra, oh, we gotta give Sestra the deeper one. LOL. She is the Arnold of the chat. After the stream, I hope we can watch videos together. I will try to make time for that. Where's the leather jacket? Right there. I can actually fit it in my smaller one now, since I've lost all the weight. There was one I only wore during the summer because it was much thinner. But the problem was I couldn't close it. It had to stay open because if I closed it, the leather would pull tight in the back, especially if I put my arms forward. Now that I've lost so much weight, I actually zip it up and I'm walking around like, hey, I feel pretty good. So I'm happy about that. Oh, of course you would. Oh, it's a C. Ooh. Little Ronnie. Oh my goodness, we got someone else. Hey, Ronnie. Welcome to the crew. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, Nikolai says, "Dude, as soon as I heard Ronnie, for whatever reason, I thought it was a different Ronnie I know, Ronnie Callan, the fursuit dancer." Do you still talk to him? I don't hear much about him. I know I had him on Skype for a little bit. Oh, if you can hear barking in the background, that's my dog, Master Jack. I have 4 Maltese, and Master Jack is the smallest one. He's blind, he's rail thin, but for whatever cosmic circumstance, for what other intelligently designed joke that this is, Jack has the single deepest bark out of any dog I've ever owned. Ever. Racist? What? Sush, how is any of this racist? And secondly, what the heck is that icon? Oh, just because they're noodle people don't mean they sound like snakes. No, of course, and I have many reptile species that don't hiss. The Rolfians just do that as an act of intimidation. That's a bit narrow-minded of you against the nudes. Hey, I am not a fellow who likes nudes. Get... Sush. First it's a nudist, now it's nudes. You gotta go, man. I'm sorry. No, this is a... this is a bit too much for me. I do not! You get out of here. The hell you are, Ethan. I know where you live. And as we've proved in the last stream when I paused recording, I have many sharp and pointy objects. Am I the only one with all these anime emojis? Do you download them somewhere? Seriously, how many, like, does Picarto just have a lot of emojis to want to begin with? I'm deeply worried. Ethan has sent an image. It is an image of a single elbow macaroni noodle. Sir, that was well played. You may escort yourself out of the building. Any car in the parking lot you are free to pick. You have won it as a prize. You win. Good day. Show us the noodle pic. Sush. How do I... Can I copy the image and send it like that? Can I, is that a thing? No, it's not with Picarto. Okay, so basically this has just devolved into, hey, show us the nude. All right, let me see here. Copy, close Skype. I'll just send it to you personally through Discord. There you go. Oh, okay, Ethan has a link. All right, so you guys enjoy your macaroni noodles after midnight or after dark, after hours. I'm going to continue sitting here and being a nerd with my book. Don't mind me. Is everybody enjoying, by the way? Are we having a good time? Are we enjoying the stream? Leave that in the comments below and the chat to the side here. Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell and whatever arbitrary feature else. We're having a great time. I want to sell out now, please. That's some run-of-the-mill noodles. Yes, sorry. Sush is a connoisseur of nudes. She needs only the best. Angel hair and above. Oh, welcome back, Nikolai. Go ahead, Ethan. You may text emoji to your heart's desire, or until the rest of the chat gets sick of you. Yes, Sush will ask you to leave now, and much like Warshak, he will softly whisper, "No." Oh, not much. Just a little bit more typing, a little bit more of the usual. But since I've been streaming for about an hour and a half, I think I'm going to call it here. And next Wednesday, I think I'll come back and we can find out what happens from here. As Nikolai might want to know, since you had to step out and take a call, the Rolfians have been jumped by concealed ESG agents as they attempted to flee back into the woods, and the leader of this small group, Plaid Vogue, was knocked to the ground. However, a second group of Rolfians that had been, I had mentioned were coming this way earlier in the book, just showed up, just realized what was happening, and have formed their counteraction, and stuff is about to get messy and dead. Oh, Sush is going to be tsundere on me. He isn't that funny. You forgot Baka. Go ahead. Go ahead. I dare you. I dare you. Anyway, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it all. And if you guys enjoy this whole Writing Wednesday or Written Wednesday, whatever I'm going to end up calling this, please, by all means, show up next week, and I look forward to having you around. I'm going to try to get these uploaded to YouTube so other people can enjoy, because I know I have a few friends who have mentioned that their scheduling won't, or their work won't allow them to attend these. So hopefully I can take and sort of share these with these when they have the moment. So thank you very much for coming. Cesra, no, thank you very much for the fun time. Sush, I don't know, I think I might have to give the highlight of the stream to Ethan or Nikolai. I don't know. That spot's contested. Anyway, until next time, I will see you all later. Thank you very much for joining me and writing on my novel. Ethan is angry and jaded off in the corner. So all is right with the world. God bless, and see you next time.